Welcome to another episode of What's the Word Mi Gente, where I put a face to the resource in the city. Y'all know about money? If you don't, you're going to know about it after this one. I have 3 amazing guests that all work in finance and accounting, and they're going to get us right on this episode. I'd love to introduce our guests. First, we have Miss Veronica.
Hello.
We have Miss Cheryl.
Hello, 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 everybody.
Okay. And last but not least, we have Miss Talaya.
Hello. Hey, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Okay. First of all y'all are entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So let's know about y'all businesses. Miss Cheryl, what you do?
Yes, full service accounting firm, McMurtry Financial Services, providing accounting, tax preparation, consulting, and training and education for-profit and nonprofit organizations.
Okay, y'all heard that. 4 and 9.
none.
Okay, Miss Veronica, what you do?
Hello. Like Z said, I am Veronica, our Powell with Empowering Wealth Financial Coaching. I'm a dedicated educator, accountant, and founder of Empowering Wealth Financial Coaching, where our mission is to inspire entrepreneurs to live a legacy beyond profit and to just recognize that their profit has a greater purpose.
I know that's right. And Talaya, what you
Hello,
do?
everyone. My name is Talaya Scott. I am the owner of FIIT Perspective LLC, where we focus on financial freedom through financial education. I hold many hats. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an accountant. I'm a professor. I work at Milwaukee Area Technical College and Concordia University. I am an author of So I Graduated, Now What Do I Do? I am a mom of 4, and the list can go on.
Okay. And you mentioned your book. Let's talk about that.
Oh, we're going to talk about it?
When'd you write
Let's
it?
talk about it.
What is it about?
So I Graduated, Now What Do I Do is about a girl who struggled in financial management. She didn't learn it in schools, the areas that she lived in and the environment that she grew up in, including her home. They never talked about it. And so she was extremely ignorant and uninformed of how to manage finances. And so she suffered terribly from the age of about 17 to 27 years old before she kind of grassrooted her own financial life. And she went through bankruptcy. She went through foreclosure. She went through bad credit. The cycle of
She
debt.
done went through it all.
Yeah, everything. And she is me. And so I rewrote my own story. I just kind of had to do it on my own, though. Like, I had to find people like Cheryl, right? I had to go to all of these conferences. I had to read all of these books. I had to do all of this stuff. I even went back to school for my master's degree in accounting. And that's where things really took a shift, because all of these people are younger than me, and all of these people got more money than me, and their credit better than mine. And I'm like, what is going on? And so from there, I just turned my life around, and I just felt like it was way too hard and took way too long. And so I wrote a book for people like me so that wouldn't be their story.
Okay. Purchasable.
Purchase a loan.
Yes,
So
get you a
necessary.
copy.
Yes. So I Graduated, Now What I Do. It is not about student loans and how to live life great after graduation. No, it's about the stuff that they don't teach us.
Okay.
And it's like, what do I do? Because this student loan bill came in the mail and I'm past that 6-month grace period. How do I manage my credit? Wait, I didn't know about credit. It's about all of the real to help you manage your life successfully in finances.
Ah, come on. That is needed.
That's part.
That part.
Okay.
Right.
So,
The young kids do the
clock
eat or
it.
clock it. Look, I'm wrong. I'm like,
Clock it all day long. Okay, so as entrepreneurs, people always get into business for a lot of different reasons, but they don't always think about the financial reasons or the financial implications or what they even have to think about in financing. The first things that everybody always talks about is a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement. Child, what does that mean, Miss Cheryl?
Okay.
First of all, starting a business is very much like having a child. There are no prerequisites. You register with your state and you're in business.
Okay.
Get your EIN number, you're doing the work, make some money, bam. And there are financial responsibilities that we have. We have to be compliant with agencies such as the IRS, such as the state,
Okay.
such as the Department of Workforce and Labor if you have employees. And so your financial statements, that balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, those are the three most common, and they're your financial dashboard for your business. So they're telling you where money is coming from, where money is going. It's letting you know whether you're profitable or not. And it's also letting you know what your net worth is. Your balance sheet shows your assets, your liabilities, and equity, which really means what do you own, less who you owe,
Okay.
tells you your net worth. And so if that's zero or negative, you ain't worth nothing.
You ain't worth.
At least not in that year.
And so it's really giving you a story, a financial story about your business. So oftentimes we can articulate mission and vision and who we're serving, but then your money is quantifying that for you. And what story can you tell from there? And that's really what your financial statements are providing you with.
And is a business owner supposed to know this, or is just my accountant supposed to know this, Veronica?
You are supposed to know it.
Okay.
It is your responsibility. You don't want to be like Wesley Snipes. Okay. And his accountant both was responsible and went to jail.
Yeah.
But that's why when I was listening to you when you started off and you were saying, hey, and you named all three. Most business owners don't know all three. A lot of time they will know the profit and loss statement because they're
Okay.
worried, they're really concerned about the profit in the business. But I meet with a lot of business owners, they don't understand a balance sheet.
Okay.
And then so I'm meeting with them like Cheryl was saying, on the personal side, it is like we think on the personal side, like what's our net worth, So with the balance sheet, it is business owners looking at that and understanding, yes, what do I own? What does my business own? What cash do I have? What assets do I have in my business? Or what does the business owe? What are my liabilities? What creditors are out there? And then I'm sure we don't have enough time to go into that. Then it's the equity section in there, which a lot of us don't know about. But and then a balance sheet is just really a snapshot of what your business, what you owe, what you own at that time. But a lot of business owners that I know, they aren't familiar or aren't looking at I like the statement of cash flow, right? A lot of business owners, they're not looking at that. And what you're doing there is, that's just the equivalent of if you have your statement of cash flow, right? A lot of times I have business owners and they look at their profit. They're like, Veronica, this time I made $200,000. Where did $200,000 at, right? Or the reason why, like if you're balancing your checkbook, right? You can look look on your app, your banking app, and it might say, oh, I got $100 in there right now. I'm balling, right, with my $100. But you enrolled a check for $110, right? But once you're looking at your financial statement, that cash flow will be able to tell you what at that time, what cash is actually in your business at that particular time.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Any advice on them three?
I mean, both of them are right. A lot of business owners think that the profit and loss statement is the most important statement, and it is not. The balance sheet is the most important statement. It is like the heartbeat of the company. Think about it like this. The balance sheet is called balance sheet because it's an equation, right? And if we remember 5th grade math, what happens on one side of the equation must happen on the other side. And so on the left side of the equation is assets, right? And then on the right side of the equation is liabilities and equity. Both of those fund the assets. So you either taking out loans and borrow money from people to fund the business, which is debt, and now you got to pay it back, or you saved up your own money and you're funding the business, or you could have did a little bit of both, and they add up to all of the assets that you have in business. And your assets are simply just everything that you have that are of value or that can produce more value, which we will call profits. Profits are simply assets. And so a lot of business owners don't get that far. They see that they in a positive and they stop there. And profits does not equal cash.
Yes.
Okay.
But they then come see a person like you. And they're looking for capital
Girl.
and never looked at that balance sheet. Oftentimes, if they're doing their finances themselves, all the balances are in the wrong direction.
Because they just
And
paid
so
somebody to
they're a
do it and didn't
mess.
understand it.
Right.
And then they come to us
To
and
help figure
to
it out.
help, or they might have one, but
they're
we look at it in 2 seconds. We can automatically say, your statement doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? You can't have negative gross margin and a positive net income. Like, it doesn't make
That math
sense.
is
And
not
I've seen
mathing.
that before, right? But they don't, if we don't understand the terms or what things are supposed to do,
Right.
and we wait to the last minute, or when we need a loan or our taxes done, now we don't care what it is. It's just slap it together,
Yeah.
and hopefully the IRS don't send me a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then not having capacity. That's the other piece why the balance sheet is so important.
Yeah.
You got to be thinking about your goals. What are you trying to attain to? And what is it going to take to reach them? So if I need capital, I've got to show enough capacity to be able to pay back the lender.
Absolutely.
And if that balance sheet doesn't show any capacity because I owe as much as I have in assets or more, there is no capacity to pay the loan back.
Correct.
And so you got to manage that balance sheet, and you need to work everything collectively. And so that statement of cash flows will show you how cash is moving in and out of your business based on operating activities, investing activities, and then lending activities.
Right.
And so what is causing the cash to move where I'm gridlocked?
Right.
In
How I
being
can
a-
adjust that.
Absolutely.
And we will
make
call that
decisions.
and in accounting we call that working capital.
Okay.
If you don't have any working capital in your business, I mean, we can look at your balance sheet and calculate the working capital and be able to tell if you can make payroll, if you can afford the principal and the interest, right? If you can afford to make your tax payments. So these type of things are so important. And accountants like ourselves, who's been doing this for a long time, I can look at your statements in 10 minutes and tell you what's
What your
going
business
on.
is going
But
on.
And we
but
have to
the-
understand
but
the
more
value of
important,
that.
though, is what you were saying when you were saying, why is this important? Yes, as accountants, we should do that. But as a business owner, you are responsible, and you should be able to speak to your financial statement.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're you can't scale your business if you can't speak to your finance. And when I say speak to your financial statements, is understand it.
And
if
explain
you're
what's
sitting
going on.
down, if you're sitting down with a funder, be able to explain to them what your balance sheet, be able to explain to them your profit and loss statement. You have to be able to, as a business owner, speak to your financial statements. And like Talaya was saying earlier, and we all, a lot of us accountants get this, where a business owner did not have up-to-date financial statements, but now you want to get this grant, you want to get this loan, right? And now you want it quick, fast, and hurry. But I tell people, you have to be careful with that, because if you're just hurrying up and putting down these numbers, right, you're committing fraud, because these people are loaning you money based off of the information you gave them. If you're not getting them, that's what all the stuff with Donald Trump was. That lawsuit he had, in New York, it was that. It wasn't accurate financial statements. Now you might be, making it in an increase or overstating the amount of money you have so that you can get a loan. But that's fraud. If you're telling this lender, this is how much money I have, or this is how much I owe, and that's not true, and they give you a loan based off of that money. So it's so much serious that, I just need to get this grant.
Right.
But that's where the education
And to
comes
add
in.
to what Veronica is saying, a lot of small business owners don't think that way or have that perspective. Because let's be honest, if I am an LLC owner and I'm a sole proprietor, but I'm an LLC, like a single member LLC, I can do what I want with my money, right? I can commingle. It's not really going to be considered fraud if I commingle, right? Because at the end of the day, it's my money. It transfers to my 1040, right? And I got to pay taxes on it anyway. But those things aren't really that detrimental. But if you are an entrepreneur who has aspirations to grow, then you need to do things right from the very beginning. If you want to be a mom and pop shop on the corner of 10th and whatever for 25 years, years, and so be it. But the way the world is going, everybody wants to grow. And you can't grow with your foundation of your business being trash. You just cannot.
And you can't make good decisions. To what you were saying about being able to speak to them, to be able to realize sometimes you run into people that are like, I don't know if I'm making enough money to pay myself. You ought to know that.
Right.
You know, you
Exactly.
should be able to pay yourself, factor yourself in. But some of that comes from making decisions, and I'm not using the financial data to make the
Yes.
decisions. I'm just looking at the bank account. If there's money in the bank, I'm moving.
Right.
And it's a lack of education and
Yes.
getting good resources and having a good partner in your service provider.
Yes.
Because your accountant shouldn't just send you or do the work and you never hear from them.
Ever.
You know,
That's
you
the
should be.
problem.
I sit down with every
Yes.
client I have every single month. We have a standing meeting for the year, an hour. We don't always have to take a full hour, but at least you get an hour of undivided attention where I'm helping you understand. You can ask questions. We're coming up with strategy so you can reach the goals you're looking to reach with intentionality, with integrity.
Yes.
You know, and making sure
With
things are up to date.
transparency.
Absolutely.
Can we be
Yes.
transparent?
You got to be honest with your
Absolutely.
accountant if
Right.
you're going to be
Please,
honest with
if
anybody.
anybody.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Okay. And so it
Absolutely.
almost sounds like I need to have my personal self together and understanding money before I could even get into a business.
Absolutely. I always say,
diligence.
now the accounting, like some of these skills are transferable, right? You're not going to be good at managing your personal finances and all of a sudden become terrible at managing business finances. It don't work like that. And it's the same on the opposite end of the spectrum. If you are terrible at managing your home finances and you are in the red and you have bad credit and it doesn't miraculously get better when you start a business. It's going to be the same behavior, the same skills, the same ignorance. And so, like Cheryl was saying, education is key. I'm an educator by nature. So I'm not going to sit down and just do your finances. I'm day one trying to teach you something. Because if you're not growing, I'm not doing my job.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to be a pain in my,
Rear.
what's the word, mi gente?
Okay.
Right. So it's like I will be doing a disservice to myself and you to not teach you the fundamentals. And we can't even have high level conversations, intellectual conversations about business growth, expansion, when to convert to. As so many people want to know, when can I be an S corp? Right. So many people have themselves on payroll, but they are the sole owner of an LLC.
LLC,
Right.
yeah.
All of these misconceptions simply because you don't know the very, very basic. So
And you're listening to cousin them that
Ooh, I was
started
about to
the
say
Not
your-
cousin them.
Your uncle on
Pookie them,
Facebook.
right.
That's true.
And it's not sound information.
TikTok,
Ah,
honey.
Right. There's so much information. We have more information
Overload.
available to us than ever in life before, but so much of it as it pertains to business finances, honestly, is wrong.
right. And then we go to H&R Block. They have 6-month accounting educations, filing business taxes. I'm not saying that they're always wrong. They go through audit process, but are they maximizing on expenses that can be taken in business? I mean, the tax law change every single year. Okay? And Cheryl and her company loves those things. Me? Not so much,
gonna send you to
okay?
Cheryl.
Yeah. See,
Look, I am a
my
certified tax
expertise is
preparer.
financial accounting
Yeah.
and not tax. And that brings me to another thing. I don't know if it's something that you had on the lineup, but please, people, please understand the difference between a bookkeeper, an accountant, and a CPA, and a tax preparer, and a tax attorney,
And a payroll specialist.
and a payroll
'cause there's
specialist.
so many-
All of these people have a basic accounting education, but their expertise is in different things. It's extremely important. I'll let Veronica elaborate on what those people are.
Yeah. And I'm an enrolled agent too. Don't leave out enrolled agent. I am
That's
enrolled
right.
agent
No, that's
too.
right.
Yes,
That's right.
That's
yes,
a tax
that's
lane.
tax lane.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Yes. So it sounds like we need to rewind and get to the basics.
Yes.
What are some basics that every business should be thinking about when we're thinking about our finances, Ms. Cheryl?
I would say, first of all, really do your due diligence. So before you launch your business, do the exercise of creating a business plan, because it
Yes.
really does walk you through being intentional and doing the due diligence around the staffing levels you need, the resources that you need, and you're costing things out, and this is what it's going to take. There's a number called your break-even point.
Okay.
So it's the bare minimal number
And if
of
y'all would like to
money.
know that equation, it's your fixed costs over 1 minus your variable costs over your sales.
Not that she know the equation. I don't even know the equation.
Yeah, I'm like,
Girl, what?
And that means
yes.
once you've costed out
Yes, layman terms,
all
Cheryl.
of the expenses within your business, what is that number? Because at the bare minimum, you have to bring in that much money to cover all your costs every single month. And that number, you should know what that number is every single day, all day
That
long.
means I got to sell 100 pizzas this day for me to get the cost of what it costs
cover
me to
all
bake
my
that.
costs in my business.
But let's be honest, sometimes that number is not easy to figure out. Because if you are a product-based business, you have something called cost of goods sold, that is
Absolutely.
affiliated with the inventory of the business. That's cost accounting, and that can be a beast all by itself, especially if you make cakes and you have batter and sugar and milk, and all of those costs are associated to a product. You can't just do one Google search and then go off of how you feel and say, I'm going to sell these for $40. Like, you cannot do that.
Because what is it that makes your cakes unique that you're using in your cakes that
Okay.
maybe the next man isn't? And you've got to cost that out, which is why I would say in factoring in your cost, factor in an accountant, factor that service provider
That's that
in,
SG&A.
so that you've got that support and that
I'm
help.
so glad she said that. Okay, because you asked about what are the basics. Okay, so getting an accountant does not mean waiting till you feel like you've made enough. So many new business owners who have startups say, I was just gonna wait till I get a couple some money in the bank and then get an accountant.
Yes.
No, do you know when you filed the LLC paperwork with the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions and paid them their little $130, that's an accounting transaction. So you need your accountant from day one.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's that imperative.
What do you like to teach, Veronica?
Oh no, I say, and I tell clients, too. Even I know we're here talking about finances, but an attorney, right? And I'm not saying you just have to go and pay millions of dollars of an attorney, and that
Because
starts.
what
at,
business structure?
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
the first thing you're deciding on is your business structure, right? And a lot of business owners, all of us, they think automatically like, oh, that's an accounting, like that's deciding on your business structure.
That's a lawyer.
Is really, that's an attorney. And I had a prospective client come to me the other day, like about a month ago, and she was like, hey, I'm opening up this, and I think I want to hold in this holding company, and I want this and this.
Girl,
Ma'am,
we done
here's
heard about
some
holding
recommendations.
Here's a couple of numbers
Talk
to
to
call.
talk to this attorney.
Okay.
And after you speak to him, then I would tell you the tax consequences
Absolutely.
of the legal structure that he advised you on.
Right.
So I think
Absolutely.
having an attorney, and even you can speak to, and I do understand you're just starting out as you're like, okay, I don't have a lot of money. With an accountant, you don't have to hire them on a monthly basis or
retainer.
quarter. You can just start off by saying, hey, it's accountants out there that just have just a consultation. Maybe it's you paying $300, $400, I don't know. Can I just sit down with you just for a consultation? I'm thinking about starting a business. Can I just sit with you for this consultation. And maybe a lot of accountants that you're working with, then they probably might say, okay, yes, you're not ready for a monthly service or maybe a quarterly service, but at least sit down and get a consultation with that accountant.
And there's two great resources, both of which are free.
Okay.
Yes.
One of them is the Small Business
SBA,
Development
yes.
Centers.
SBDC.
SBDCs.
Y'all remember them from the previous episode? We had
Yes.
Dina on there.
Absolutely.
Talk to your girl.
Yes.
They will work with you and then score.
Yeah.
You remember Bree, the girl that was sitting next to Athena on that episode we just listened to? Yeah.
And then when it comes to attorneys, Marquette Law School has a
Yes.
whole
Yes.
like council where their students answer law questions for the community.
Yes.
And these are students with access to the research you need. So even if they don't know the answer, they have the access to the resources to get the answers for you. So there's so many free resources. As business owners, we just have to do our due diligence. And people don't want to take the time
Yes.
to do their due diligence. They want to get the lights, get the social media, lights, camera, action. I'm on. And that's, where the focus is, unfortunately.
And where do you guys see business owners struggling the most within their financing? Is it, I'm not bringing enough customers, I'm not selling enough? Is it, I got money in the bank, but I don't know what to do with it? What do you think?
Commingling.
Thank you. Management, period.
Yeah, and as I was an auditor with the Wisconsin Department of Revenue for years. So I audited.
You was an auditor too?
You,
I was an auditor, but I
Yeah,
was
you know,
I was an EY. I didn't even realize that. Hey now.
with the Wisconsin,
nothing but the best on this pod.
And too, I teach at WCTC. I'm a full-time instructor at WCTC in the school of business. Hey, WCTC. But anyway, but when I was an auditor with the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, so I went out through the state of Wisconsin, audited business to make sure they were in compliance with their taxes. But now everyone was, people say, "Oh, Veronica, an auditor." So it was like a million auditor question. Like, "Oh, Veronica, if I get audited or I get audited, like, what should I do?" And I would always tell them,
You don't have to.
I would say, like, when you getting audited, the best way you prepare is long before you even get that letter that you were audited. You have to be proactive. So when you get that letter, if you just starting to prepare then, you are behind the game. When what I was actually saying is when I was going out auditing, what I'm doing is I'm looking through all of your expenses. I'm looking through your credit cards, your bank statements, and I would have, taxpayers would say, I would go through there and they're like, "Oh, no, Veronica, I'm looking at their business credit card." They're like, "Oh, that's personal." Okay, well then you open the door for me to look at your personal, right? Because you brought that in there. So I think a lot of it is, and it's all of us, just how as personal finances, I'll speak for myself, I didn't grow up. My dad was a avid saver, but he was into, investing, right? He saved, but not investing. So we go through life, we make, not the right decisions financially. That does transfer over to make your decisions in your business. I tell my clients there's no business finance without personal finances, right? So a lot of it is, it's just them not having the management skills. So when you're looking and you keep commingling your funds, and the reason why that's harmful is you have an LLC. Like I said, the LLC is not a tax, class. It's just a legal, structure, right? But you get that for legal protection, right? So now if just say you're cooking. We're talking about baking cakes. You're baking cakes. Somebody got sick. You gave them something. They want to sue you. So now they're coming after the business asset and not the personal assets. But what happens when you start commingling, and you're up before you go to court, you up for this judge, and they're like, "Well, we can't tell what's your business or your personal. So guess what?
We're doing them both.
You're going to have to be responsible. They can go after you because we cannot tell the difference. So the first place, just be organized. And guess what? Start today. You can't, if you hadn't been, that's fine. Give yourself grace, but start today. Start today with saying, you know what, I'm going to be working and I'm going to be paying attention to, I'm not going to use my business for personal. I'm not going to use my personal
for
So we need
business.
separate bank accounts, is what I hear.
Absolutely. And it's your money. So you can do what you want. You just can't do it in a business bank account. So
Right.
say for instance you have US Bank business account, but you also have a US Bank personal account. Then you would transfer it to your personal and then do all of your personal business because it's just considered a owner's draw. The owner is withdrawing money from their business and they have the right to do whatever they want with their own money. It's just how it looks on paper matters because once you get mixed up in an audit, it becomes detrimental. I've been through a Wisconsin Department of Revenue audit. They are vultures.
They are. They are.
She worked
Nitpick.
there. I was on the other end. I was making good money and I was working at a firm 1 year. And so my income was really high. I stopped working at that company, but I still had my business, but I only had my business income. So it was a drastic change. And they were like, what? You're lying. And it was a red flag. And because I have, I did my Schedule C and it transferred to my personal 1040, they looked at everything with my LLC. So they looked at all of my LLC. They looked at all of my personal, my kids. I had to get stuff from the schools. It was bananas. Like they went completely crazy. But what I can say, and Cheryl, Veronica, you can tell me what you think about this, but it's 2025 and I'm closer to millennial, right? And so many people feel like they have to save all of these receipts. Now, saving the receipts is not a bad thing. However, don't expect me, Talaya, to count receipts and you not get a high bill for it because that's tedious work. If you're using your business bank account in the correct way, all you have to do is give them the bank statements. Like, you want to audit? Here's my profit and loss statement for my business. Here's my bank statements.
Match it
Bye-bye.
up.
Do what you need to do.
Because my financials are reconciled.
Because they're
to my bank.
reconciled
Yeah.
and you can find. And that's what happened with me. I didn't give them a receipt for anything. I gave them my bank statements, everything panned out, and then they sent me a check. I was like, oh, did that one right.
Yes.
But that's how important it is because we think we're getting away with things and we are not. It's
everything's
like a ticking
recorded.
time bomb. Yeah.
I know that. Any mistakes that you see in your business?
I just think it really is a failure to work with someone who knows what they're doing. Like, to be an accountant, you got to go to school at a minimum of 4 years.
Minimum.
You want to be certified and licensed, you got to go 6. Why do you think today I woke up and I'm baking cakes and now I know everything about managing my money? So I think there's just a misconception, and I really do struggle with a certain software platform that I will not mention so that you don't have to be in trouble with
Okay.
anything.
I know that's
But
right.
I struggle with them because they market their platform
To-
to lead business owners to think they can do
And you
it
cannot.
Because it brings them money.
themselves.
Yes.
And you can't do it.
And
You
they
cannot.
really,
And they're
you
getting-
really don't
yes.
know.
Because,
So
child, you got to make
really need to
your
work
own
with
chart of
someone.
accounts on there, and people don't even know what a chart of account is. So you
Absolutely.
can
Right.
tell it where to go. So
What's
the
a
platform-
chart?
Okay,
Right.
girl, what's an
medical chart?
account?
What are we talking about? Right?
Yep. So
What advice do you give somebody who is getting into business and they want to be the best financial place that they can be? Where do I start?
Absolutely. Take ownership and responsibility for your business. As Veronica, as Talaya has said, it is your responsibility. The IRS coming to you first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you really have to take responsibility, get a professional that can help you with understanding, can be a guide, even if they're on retainer, to answer questions. Do your research and don't just work in your business,
work on.
Work on
it.
your business.
Which means schedule in some dedicated time to give attention to your finances. Managing your finances is not just once a year when it's time to file your taxes.
No, it's not.
Because I'm not accepting any boxes of receipts. I'm not putting
Listen.
together your numbers. I'm going to give you a tax organizer and you're going to add all that stuff up to
Yourself.
me and give it to me. Because if you have failed to do what you need to do throughout the year, then you're going to have to put the work in at some point.
Veronica,
So,
any
yeah.
advice?
Yes, I would say, stay encouraged. As I stated earlier, give yourself grace. It's not easy being a business owner. It's a lot to know. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot of laws and regulations and all of that you have to stay abreast of. So I'll start there and just saying that. But also just understanding too that you have a business, but you also have a purpose, right? And so that business can be fulfilling that purpose that you have. You can be just a blessing to so many other people that you are servicing or providing a product to. And then just think about if you don't have everything aligned like you should, and the IRS is coming after you, or all these other different tax agencies are coming, after you. Now your purpose and that you should be providing to other people, now you're not able to provide the services and to be helpful to the people that you're servicing because you have so much stress. So I just like to tell business owners, if you have all the stress on you about finances, there's no way you can have the vision and you can walk the vision out that you have in your business if you worried about how you gonna pay this, how you gonna do that. So you have to do yourself a service, do your clients and your customer a service by getting this in line. So once all of this in line, you will have the clarity and the vision to walk out the purpose that you have for your business.
Amen. I know that's right. Talaya, any advice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Do not be ignorant. Okay. I was in prayer time the other day with God and we was having a conversation and he told me, Talaya, it is not okay to be ignorant. And I'm going to say that to the listeners because it's just not. Like, I'm an educator by nature. In my business, I'm a speaker. I do so many speaking engagements talking about different facets of financial management, whether it's cash flow or understanding your financial statements or how to build a budget, things like that. I've done these things for SBDA. I've done these things for WIBIC. I've done these things for UWM, and they're free to the attendee.
Yes.
There's so many free
I've
resources.
hosted free-
We've
Okay.
hosted
And they
free
want- yeah.
events
Yes.
to free, not free to us,
Yes,
but
but
free
free.
to the consumer. And it's just you can Google it, you can Eventbrite it, you can do whatever you need to, but it is not
No
okay
excuses.
to be ignorant and then be mad at the person who you need the help from later when you get a bill. It's not okay. And so I would encourage you not to be ignorant. I would encourage you to read. I would encourage you to listen to podcasts. I would encourage you to enroll.
Okay.
Sign up for a class
Yes.
and learn something.
Take that time.
That is my advice.
Yes.
I know that's right. Well, all you ladies are entrepreneurs and bookable. So tell us how people can book your services, Miss Cheryl.
Absolutely. You can go to my website, McMurtryFinancialServices.com, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find us, McMurtryFinancialServices.com.
Okay, Veronica.
Okay. No, I'm excited to just speak with you all. You can go to empoweringwealthcoaching.com, and then our business line is 262-291-1638. I'm also, we're also on social media, Facebook and LinkedIn is Empowering Wealth Financial Coaching. Be glad. My passion is business owners and finance and finances. It's just kind of the direction that we're going in. So if you got questions about your taxes or accounting, and also just representation, if you are a business owner where you feel like, hey, I owe the IRS, right? And now, because the IRS is the biggest collection agency in the world, okay? So and that's fearful. but I've been on the other side. So if you are a business owner that are in a situation where you do have tax debt, like I will be glad to assist you, walk you through that, and be able to be a calm process while you're
I
walking
know
through
that's
that.
right. And Talaya?
So I can be contacted by Talaya Scott, Talaya Scott, Scott. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. TikTok and all them other ones, I don't really, I need my kids for that, okay? And then my business is Fit Perspective LLC. That's FIIT Perspective LLC. You can go to fitperspective.com, Fit Perspective on Instagram, Fit Perspective on Facebook, Fit Perspective on LinkedIn. The links are right there. You can purchase the book online. You can schedule time with me, consultation. I even talk 15 minutes for free. That's how much I love
I know
people.
that's
You
right.
got a question, we don't go over 15 minutes. You can get whatever question answer. Or I might just send you to the right resource like Cheryl or Veronica for the things
Yes,
that they do that I don't do. I'm a host of resources as well. And I just love helping people.
Yes, absolutely.
Get the book. Thank you, ladies, so much. I done learned something.
Yes.
I will catch y'all on the next episode of What's the Word Mi Gente.
I just realized we all got